chartbusters, and as we start the second half of this year, it's also time to look back and see how the first half of 2017 has panned out and what cues it has for 2017. Nigel, what does history suggest?
You know, Mangalam, we always talk about cricket. This time around, we're going with football.
The first half and the second half.
First half and the second half. You know, you just take a look from 2008 to 2012. Right. How the first half went, you know, the second half normally followed suit. If you just take a look at some of those numbers on the screen as well. So we did have a bad first half. The second half was bad. And if we had a good first half, then in fact the second half as well was quite good. So that's what it was from 2008 to 2012. But after that, you know, the Nifty decided to do its own thing. Maybe the first half, the music was good. The second half, they didn't like it too much. You know, so they've been swinging around. And that, the trend that we saw in 2008 to 12 didn't really continue in the next few years. But this year, Mangalam, we are sitting with a gain of more than 15%. Second half of the year, how's it going to pan out? Let's see where the Nifty goes from here. But institutions, they have been backing us. Both the DIs as well as FIs, if you just take a look at the data points, they are pumped in more than 40,000 crores in the first half of the year. So keep your eye on that one. But you know, a lot of retail investors, they ask us how much of wealth has been created. Well, let's try to simplify that. I don't know whether this is simplifying, but you'll see the number up for you on the screen.
So many zeros, can't even count.
19 lakh crore. That's
19 lakh crores.
BSE market capitalization that's been added in the first half of this year itself, Mangla. But tell us, how has the Sensex moved? How have the indices moved?
Well, 19 lakh crores is the number that you've put as far as the absolute number is concerned. But take a look at the Sensex. That's up 16% this year. But if you were a foreign institutional investor investing in dollars, the strength of the rupee would have increased your returns to about 22%. That's the frontline index that I'm talking about. Take a look at a couple of sectoral indices. The one that has really stood out is the real estate index. After underperforming for so long, this year itself, it's up 62%. Nifty Bank, that one too has increased your wealth by nearly a third. You have the small cap and the mid caps doing their own jig with 20 to 25% gains. What have been the bad boys have been IT as well as pharma. Both of them have underperformed. 6 to 8% cuts seen on both the IT as well as the pharmaceutical index.
So defensives, they've got clean bowled really if you just take a look at what the IT and the pharma index has done.
So you came back to cricket.
But who are the biggest gainers, Mangalam, in terms of the Nifty stocks? Some of them should come up for you. You have the likes of India Bulls are there giving you gains of more than 65%. You have an IndusInd Bank as well in there with gains of more than 35%. But Mangalam, the Nifty goes up when the big heavy boys come to the party. And that's really what's happened. If you just take a look at the 5 stocks that come up for you on the screen, they have given you returns between what? Around 25% to around 38% approximately. And remember, 5 of them together, they constitute 35% of the Nifty. So when they're doing well, obviously, the Nifty was set for a good run.
Absolutely, Nigel. But for the mid-caps, you know, you had to be a large-hearted guy. This wasn't for the faint-hearted. If you take a look at the broader market winners, you had India Bulls Real Estate up 200%. JP Associate, we had Manoj Gaur talking to us today. That stock up about 180%. DLF as well as India Cements too, a stock, India Cement, that did not move for a while, up 71% in the first half of this year itself. Take a look at the broader markets as well. Escorts, that one is more than doubled in this year. We have DHFL, Dalmia Bharat, both of them giving their 80% contribution as far as the mid-cap gains are concerned too. But wherever there are winners, are there losers as well?
That's right, Mangalam. You're talking about high beta doing well. Well, that's not always the case because Reliance Communications, that stock after being a rank underperformer, that's lost more than 35% in the first half of the year. And pharma stocks, they seem to be ill. You know, if you have Divi's Laboratory, you have Glenmark as well in there with cuts of around 20 to around 30% approximately. But let's wind this down on a good note. Let's talk about the biggest movers in the first half of this year. You have India Bulls Ventures. In fact, that stock is up more than 700%. Shakti Pumps pumping it up. And in fact, Future Retail as well has done quite well with a gain of around 180%. As Mangalam and me told you earlier, first half of the year has been good. Let's see what the second half holds for us, Mangalam. It's a Friday, so the first half of what is down. Let's see whether the second half, the Nifty can continue standing.
All right, on that note, I think we should end the show and we'll discuss the second half of Friday post the show. You stay tuned.